Hello everyone, and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. This month, viewers of The Bold and the Beautiful can look forward to a beautiful December wedding on CBS. According to spoilers, Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, and Hope Logan, Annika Noel, will say "I do," with their daughter Beth presiding. Lope's closest friends and family will gather for their wedding. The wedding may go off without a hitch, but B&B spoilers suggest the honeymoon could go downhill quickly. Will Hope Logan's honeymoon be interrupted by pregnancy symptoms? Here's what's coming up next week on the CBS soap. B&B spoilers are below. Liam and Hope say "I do." Hope Logan and Liam Spencer's daughter Beth handled all of the wedding plans for the pair, from the hand-picked guest list to the "I do's." Fortunately, the remarried couple will be able to enjoy their honeymoon together and child-free. However, Bold and the Beautiful rumors suggest that things might go wrong in the bedroom if Hope develops early pregnancy signs. Nobody on The Bold and the Beautiful has ever taken a pregnancy test as quickly as Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada. On soaps, if someone is pregnant, they usually start feeling symptoms the next month and get a positive pregnancy test a few weeks later. There is a very real potential that Hope Logan is pregnant with her ex Carter Walton's Lauren St. Victor child and has no knowledge. Hope Logan swapped relationships quickly when Hope and Carter broke up. She hurried back to Liam and said yes in record speed. Soap time frames are tricky. However, if Hope Logan is pregnant with Carter's child, she should be experiencing early pregnancy signs any day now. Will she realize she has morning sickness or missed her period once she and Liam are blissfully married and on their honeymoon? Do you believe Hope might be pregnant? Will Liam regret marrying her once he discovers she's carrying another man's child? Tell us what you think in the comments section below, and keep checking back to Celebrating the Soaps for more Bold and the Beautiful teasers and updates. The sun had barely risen over Maui's blue horizon when Hope Logan Spencer awoke to the sound of retching. Not hers. Liam's. She sat up in the canopied four-poster bed of their own villa at the Four Seasons, silk sheets falling from her shoulders, listening to her brand-new husband empty the marble bathroom of what was left of last night's Mai Tais. "Liam?" she called quietly, her tone tinged with apprehension. They had been married exactly 72 hours. This was meant to be the honeymoon of magazines and dreams, erasing every betrayal, triangle, and tear-soaked confession that had marked the previous decade of their life. Instead, it felt as if the cosmos had copied and pasted every calamity they had ever suffered. Liam came from the toilet looking like he'd aged 10 years overnight. His face was the color of damp sand, his eyes bloodshot, and his hair stood up in defeated tufts. He managed a feeble smile that came nowhere near his eyes. "Food poisoning," he muttered. "Must have been the poke." Hope threw her legs over the side of the bed, the hem of her white lace honeymoon negligee brushing across her thighs. "We ate exactly the same poke. I am okay." He tried to shrug but quickly regretted it, clutching his gut. "Lucky me." But Hope knew Liam Spencer like she knew the back of her own hand. She understood the difference between food poisoning and guilt. She saw shame on his face the night he admitted to sleeping with Steffi for the first time. She saw it the night he admitted to kissing Sally Spectra. She saw it when he informed her he had gotten Steffi pregnant twice. This was that expression. Only worse. "Liam," she asked quietly, "what is it?" He opened his mouth. "I closed it." "I opened it again." "Hope, As his phone charged on the teak nightstand, it began to vibrate like an agitated hornet. The name on the screen caused Hope's heart to stop beating for 3 full seconds. "Steffi." Liam gazed at the phone, as if it could explode. Hope locked her gaze on Liam. "You should answer it," she continued, her tone bland. He did not move. The phone went into voicemail. 30 seconds later, it began vibrating again. "Steffi." Hope reached over and swiped acceptance before Liam could stop her. She did not set it to speaker. She just held it to her ear and waited. Steffi's voice rang out, panicked, enraged, and afraid all at once. "Liam, oh my God, pick up, Kelly's paternity test has come back. It is negative." You are not her father. Liam, you are not her father. The room slanted. Hope felt the floor drop out from beneath the villa, the island, and the entire Pacific Ocean. She lowered the phone carefully. Liam was staring at her, mouth open, and the color had entirely drained from his face, making him look like a ghost haunting his own honeymoon. Hope, he began. She held up one finger. Only one. That gesture represented every year of forgiveness she had ever given him, every second opportunity, and every time she had chosen love over pride. That finger said to wait. She pressed the phone back against her ear. Steffi, she continued, surprised by how steady her voice sounded, I'm putting you on speaker. She pressed the button. Steffi was in the middle of a rant. Told Finn we had to know for sure because of the bone marrow match for the new baby and the lab rushed it, and it's conclusive. Liam, you're not Kelly's biological father, and I don't understand how this is possible because I know I never. Hope's gaze didn't leave Liam's. Steffi, she interrupted. You are on speaker. Liam and I are both listening. Silence cracked across the Pacific like a live wire. Then Steffi muttered. Hope. I'm here, Hope said. Tell us what the test results suggest. Word for word. Steffi said, her voice shaking. It says there is a 0% chance that Liam Spencer is Kelly Spencer's biological father. The sample was tainted for the first time some years ago. They reran both the original and a fresh version. Both expressed the same meaning. Liam fell down the side of the bed, as if his bones had dissolved. He looked at Hope with utter sadness. Hope stopped the call, without saying goodbye. She approached the balcony doors and pushed them open. The trade winds blew in, bringing the aroma of plumeria and salt. The ocean underneath them churned against black lava rock, indifferent and ancient. Behind her, Liam muttered, Hope. Don't, she said. Not angry. Not yet. Just tired. Just tell me how. He drew both hands down his face. I do not know. I don't, Hope, I swear on everything, I believed she was mine. I held her the day she was born. I was there for every fever and milestone. I adored her before she even had a name. Hope turned. But you slept with Steffi the night before your marriage to me. The first time. And you made her pregnant. That is what you told me. That's what the initial test stated. This is why I lost everything. That was why I briefly married Thomas. That's why my mom cried for months. Because you got Steffi pregnant with Kelly. I know, he said. I know exactly what I did. But I also know that I never slept with anyone else throughout that time. It was just you and Steffi. I was a mess, but I wasn't. Hope, I didn't cheat on both of you with some random. Then who is Kelly's father? Hope asked, her voice raising for the first time. Because according to science, it isn't you. Liam gave no response. He merely sat on the edge of their honeymoon bed, his head in his hands, as the woman he had just committed to marry stared at him as if he were a stranger, wearing her husband's face. The next 12 hours were a haze of cancelled couples massages, unfinished room service pineapple, and phone calls neither of them wanted to make. Hope texted her mother. Honeymoon cut short. I will be home tomorrow. I will explain then. Brooke reacted with a series of broken heart emojis and 17 question marks. Steffi called back 6 times. I hope everyone goes to voicemail. At 8:03 p.m. A private jet was waiting for them to return to Los Angeles. Hope boarded first. Liam followed with their suitcases, the handles cutting against his hands. They didn't speak for the entire 5.5-hour flight. Hope looked out the window at the black ocean below, while Liam focused on the paternity report Steffi had emailed, the one with the large red 0% probability stamped on it like a death sentence. When they arrived in Van Nuys at dawn, the sky above Los Angeles was the hue of a mending bruise. A dark SUV waited. The driver knew better than to speak. They went straight to the Forrester mansion once Steffi texted that everyone was there. Everyone. Hope nearly laughed. Of course. Nothing about their life was ever private. Nothing was ever solely theirs to break apart. The living room resembled a battle room. Steffi stood in the center, eyes puffy, holding the identical report. Finn stood behind her, his jaw so clenched that Hope wondered if he had shattered a tooth. Ridge hovered, looking at every day of his 60-something life. Eric sat in his wingback chair like a king, waiting for someone to inform him that the kingdom had been stolen overnight. Taylor was there, of course she was, wringing her hands and talking about repressed memories and postpartum psychosis. Kelly sat in the corner, wearing a small pink frock with ladybugs on it. 7 years old. Confused. Holding a plush giraffe and searching around for her papa, who would always take her up when she asked. Liam stepped straight up to her. He dropped on his knees. Kelly flung her arms around his neck, as if nothing had changed. Daddy, you are home early. Have you brought me a lei? Liam's entire body shook as he embraced her. Yeah, baby, he said softly into her hair. Daddy brought you the biggest lei on the whole island. Hope watched them and felt something inside her chest split along a fault line she hadn't realized existed. Steffi approached her warily. I'm sorry you're finding out like this. During your honeymoon. I never intended. Save it, Hope replied gently. Then loudly, everybody save it. I want to know who. Ridge cleared his throat. We do not know yet. We are retesting Bill. He was around that month, Hope said, laughing. It wasn't a pleasant sound. Of course. Dollar Bill Spencer. Why not? He has only slept with every lady in this room. Steffi flinched. Taylor stepped forward. There is another possibility. During Steffi's recovery after the gunshot, she had a night. She was drinking heavily. She did not recall much. It's possible, Mom, Steffi said abruptly. Stop. Finn eventually spoke. I'm not hiding behind amnesia anymore. We will test every man who was in Los Angeles that month if necessary. However, Kelly is currently the first priority. She doesn't understand why everyone is sobbing. Hope glanced at the young child clutching to Liam's neck and felt her heart fracture into so many pieces that she didn't think there would ever be enough glue. She's still his daughter, Hope explained, her voice breaking for the first time. Biology can't take that away. But Steffi, you let him believe. You made all of us believe. You based your entire, we're a family story on a falsehood. Steffi's tears flowed. I did not realize it was a lie. The first test said, the first test was tainted, Finn added gently. Laboratory mistake. This happens. However, 2 tests now yield identical results. Liam is not the father. Liam stood, holding Kelly in his arms. He gazed across the room at Hope, his eyes filled with an excruciating cry. Hope, he continued, come home with me. We will figure this out together. You and I, as usual. But Hope was already backing toward the door. I need to breathe, she said. I have to think. I can't look at any of you right now. She exited the estate and continued walking until she arrived at the guest house where she and Liam intended to live as husband and wife. She sat on the front step, staring at the ring on her left hand, platinum, 2 carats, chosen together in Antwerp, and wondered how many more times her heart could break before giving up trying to heal. Behind her, the door opened. She did not turn around. Brooke's arms wrapped around her from behind. Baby. Oh, my dear girl. Hope snuggled back into her mother, allowing herself to cry like she hadn't since she was 16 and discovered Liam kissed Steffi in the Forrester steam room. Mom, she wept. I recently married him. I just forgiven everything. I just stood there in that white dress and pledged forever. Brooke rocked her as if she were 5 again. I understand, sweetheart. I know. Inside the main house, Liam sat on the sofa, Kelly sleeping against his chest, her little hand curled around his thumb as it had since she was born. He peered at the paternity report until the words became blurry. He wasn't her father, but he was her father. And somewhere in this metropolis, there was a man who didn't realize he shared half of her DNA. And his brand new marriage, for which he had waited half his life, lay shattered on the guest house steps. The bold and the beautiful has just dropped its biggest bomb yet. Liam had pictured several different scenarios for his honeymoon with Hope, including tranquil mornings, soft ocean air floating through balcony doors, and the constant comfort of knowing they had finally chosen each other without hesitation, with no ghosts haunting them from the past. He imagined a week in which the world stayed still, no problems erupted back home in Los Angeles, and their love story was not overwhelmed by another unexpected twist. For a few precious days, it appeared that fantasy would become a reality. The resort was beautiful, the colors brilliant, and Hope's hand slipped lightly inside his with a warmth that felt soothing, deliberate, and perfect. However, behind their shared smiles and vows murmured between sun-drenched afternoons, a subtle strain lingered, small and nearly unnoticeable at first, like a warning tremor before an earthquake. Hope had kept something near to her heart in the days leading up to the honeymoon, convincing herself that she would find the appropriate time to tell Liam. She did not want to tarnish the new beginning they had promised each other. She didn't want to break the fragile bubble of bliss they had created. However, every time she opened her mouth to speak, she felt her words turn to stone. She had convinced herself that there will be a safer, better period. That time never arrived. Instead, the truth picked its own timing and struck with the precision and severity of fate. It began on their second day at the resort. Hope awoke with persistent nausea, sharp waves that had nothing to do with the rich dishes or tropical cocktails they'd sipped on the beach. When she excused herself from breakfast and did not return for over half an hour, Liam became concerned. He discovered her in the bathroom, sitting on the tiled floor, knees drawn up, face pale. When he saw her expression, something inside him changed. "I hope I did not have to say it," he knew. However, hearing it aloud felt like being plunged into ice water. "I think I might be pregnant," she said quietly. The words rang across the small area, like a confession. Liam stared at her, trying to process the meaning, attempting to reconcile his amazement with a sensation of delight that should have accompanied such information. Their marriage was new. They'd talked about children before, but only in theoretical terms, anticipating a distant time when the chaos of their lives would eventually settle. This was not part of the plan. Not now. Not like this. Not when they had just taken their first breaths as husband and wife. "I hope we can figure it out," he whispered gently, moving her hair away from her forehead. He intended it. Even though his chest tightened with terror, he meant it. They'd been through so much that a pregnancy, whether unexpected or not, should have been something they could all embrace. But Hope's eyes revealed a different story. She was not terrified about being pregnant. She was not afraid of Liam's reaction. She was terrified of the secret she had hidden, which she had fought so frantically to avoid. Something about the thought of being pregnant brought that secret to light, threatening to destroy all she and Liam had worked so hard to mend. She hadn't told him the truth about the night before their reconciliation, the sole time she had sought comfort in Thomas's embrace, when her heart had been shattered by Liam's dilemma between her and Steffi. It was a decision she regretted, a moment of weakness she desired to erase from existence. She had believed that it would never matter. They had vowed to move forward and put past scars behind. She told herself that the detail was irrelevant. If she was truly pregnant, the timeline became hazy and difficult to ignore. And Liam, who had been misled before, would not accept the thought that the baby was not his. She hadn't said any of this aloud yet. Instead, she let Liam hug her, whispering reassurances he didn't realize were based on shaky foundation. The next hours felt strange. They went to a local clinic, and the resort helped them get an appointment right away. The personnel treated them with respect, ignorant of the inner turmoil simmering beneath their calm demeanor. When the nurse verified the news, Liam tightly gripped Hope's hand. For a brief moment, they enjoyed a frail joy, small but genuine. A new beginning, a chance to bring their family together in a way that may heal the wounds of their past. But then the doctor posed a question that changed everything. "How far along are you estimating?" she inquired, her tone kind. Hope froze. Liam went to her, anticipating a clear answer. Instead, Hope's stillness grew into something awful. "Hope," he asked softly, "you know roughly when?" She shook her head before he could continue. "I am not sure." Two words broke the foundation beneath them. Liam felt his stomach drop. Hope would not meet his gaze. And everything inside him constricted in recognition, the same sinking feeling he'd had years before when he discovered the truth about Steffi and Bill. He felt dizzy from déjà vu. What do you mean you're not certain? He asked, attempting to maintain a calm demeanor. Hope opened her mouth but couldn't make any words. Her silence spoke more than any confession could. The remainder of the appointment was blurry. Liam's mind kept reliving Hope's hesitancy and inability to answer a basic question. By the time they returned to their apartment, he felt hollow, struggling not to make conclusions. When Hope had finally mustered her courage, she informed him. I was with Thomas, she muttered. Once. Before we got back together. The phrase struck them with crushing power. Liam took a step back, as if the air had been struck out of his lungs. His world shifted, and the room felt tight, the ocean beyond the balcony too calm and unconcerned about the chaos raging inside him. Thomas, he said, his voice straining. After all he has done? After what we've been through with him? Hope nodded, tears falling down her cheeks. I got hurt. You weren't sure about us. I made a mistake. Liam's voice crackled. I hope this isn't forgettable. This is not a tiny item. You slept with Thomas but didn't tell me. Didn't you think it was important? Particularly before we were married? It didn't mean anything, she insisted. It was one night. I thought that was behind us. But now you're pregnant, he added slowly, as if speaking too forcefully might shatter him completely. And you don't know whose child it is. Hope sobbed as she covered her face.